apocalyptic language, many see a timeline for destruction on an unprecedented level. Some argue the timeline will end suddenly, violently, in this century.
We live in a world that is changing profoundly and fast, and that is facing threats that seem apocalyptic to us. We worry about global warming, overpopulation. It's necessary only to open the newspaper or turn on CNN to see headlines which, in the eyes of some readers of Revelation, will be sure proof that the biblical prophecies are coming true at last.
Just think about in the last couple of years, we have seen devastating hurricanes. We have seen devastating tornadoes. We've encountered earthquakes very high on the Richter scale. If you look at how fast they are happening and how much closer together they are coming, as we get closer to the end of days, they almost will come right on top of each other.
The prophecy within Revelation suggests that as the seven seals of the apocalypse are broken one by one, we move closer to the end of the timeline. Some biblical experts contend that the seals have already begun to break, setting the stage for a final cataclysm. If this is true, what could happen and when? Exactly where are we on the timeline? There will be terrible suffering, wars, illness, a series of disasters, catastrophes that will be visited on Earth, on human beings living on Earth, as the end of the world approaches. And in the end, we will witness the final destruction of the Earth on which mortal human beings live. But what forces will bring about this final destruction? How would we know that the most important seal of all, the seventh, has been broken? Revelation says the final punishment for mankind's evil will be heralded by the peals of celestial trumpets.
You see seven angels, each having a trumpet, and they come forth, and then begins the series of the trumpet judgments.
Some believe that these judgments will be natural disasters of unprecedented magnitude. They look to science for answers, as they theorize that the cryptic text in Revelation may allude to physical forces on or beyond Earth. Some New Testament scholars say that this and biblical references to fire falling from the sky could be interpreted as asteroids. A collision between an asteroid and the Earth may be the catastrophic event predicted in another verse from Revelation.
The third angel sounded his trumpet, and a great star, blazing like a torch, fell from the sky. The name of the star
was Wormwood.
Some believe that Revelation's author, John, is not specifying a star in this passage, but a comet or asteroid. It is widely accepted that ancient observers could not have understood the difference between various types of celestial bodies. And while no stars are named Wormwood, there is strong scientific evidence that an asteroid strike could play a major role in the mass extinction of life on Earth.
Astronomers now believe that all three generations of dinosaurs, Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous, were brought to extinction, at least in part by extraterrestrial collision events, giant comets and asteroids striking the Earth. If something that big were to happen, humanity wouldn't survive.
Today, a collision between Earth and an asteroid just a few miles in diameter may release as much energy as 1,000 nuclear weapons detonated simultaneously.
In Winslow, Arizona, a crater that's almost a mile in diameter, that was caused by a rock that was only 100 feet across. If one of the larger ones, like say something 1,000 feet across, were to hit a populated area like New York City or Los Angeles, the energy release would be such that it would wipe out the entire metropolitan area of any one of those cities.
Destructive power of this magnitude was evident in an historic impact event in 1908. An extraterrestrial body, likely a comet or asteroid, entered Earth's atmosphere and exploded over central Siberia, flattening over 700 square miles of the Tunguska forest. The region was so remote that only one death was reported. As recently as 2006, a half-mile-wide asteroid, large enough to cause catastrophic climate change and disrupt the world's agricultural production, came within just 24 hours of smashing into Earth. In space terms, a near miss.
Astronomers today are tracking hundreds, if not thousands, of asteroids and comets out there that could make a close pass of the Earth. About as large as they get is about a kilometer across. And so yes, there is a serious effort to track those because if they were to strike the Earth, it could cause a lot of damage.
But even astronomers using advanced tracking instruments say it would be all but impossible to prevent a collision. Even if they could calculate years in advance that a large object was destined to strike the Earth, no technology currently exists to deflect it or protect us from its impact. Some believe that the horrific aftermath of such an impact is described in this passage from Revelation.
And the third part of the sun was smitten, and the third part of the moon, and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened.
If a large asteroid or comet were to strike Earth in our lifetime, it would send millions of tons of debris into our atmosphere for years. This would virtually imprison us in a cloud of dust, cut off from the life-giving sun. Is this the scenario described in Revelation? In any case, its author writes that more trumpets will blast, and even greater anarchy will unfold.
And so this starts tremendous calamity. It says there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
According to Revelation, when yet another trumpet sounds, a giant army will pillage the earth. Its mission?
To slay the third part of men, and the number of the army of the horsemen, 200,000.
Many experts interpret this to mean that an army, 200 million strong, will wage war against its enemies, slaughtering populations across the globe. But who could summon such a massive force?
Mao Zedong had gone on record saying that China could field an army of 200 million men, which happened to be an interesting correlation to the number in the Book of Revelation.
Even fringe believers do not suggest that the Chinese militia is an army of Satan, only that an army of 200 million is actually possible. Whatever the allegiance of this formidable force, Revelation states it will destroy 1/3 of the Earth's population. But according to the text, even greater tribulations will follow. What will happen when the Antichrist finally reveals himself to the world?